Thank you. Can you hear me? My name is Derrick Nordberg. I'm with the Cowiche Creek Brewing Company, and along with my wife, Maria. And this is a story how we got to the point we are today. Go ahead, Carter. Roll tape. This is me on the left. It's Throwback Thursday, right? And my two brothers. If you can't tell from the picture, we grew up sons of apple farmers. And we also grew up working very hard. To the point, by the time we got out of college, there wasn't too much the three of us couldn't build, grow, or fix. A few years after college, I was able to get a 45-acre farm out of federal foreclosure. It took a couple years to get it cleaned up and producing hay and cattle, but it was a labor of love, and there's not too many things more rewarding for a farmer than growing a crop and taking it to market. A few years later, I built a house on the property, and I'd never built anything bigger than a pump house, and I thought to myself, how hard can it be? Well, let me tell you, it was a big house, and it was hard. It was a year of my life I'll never get back. By the time I got done, I said I'd never, ever, ever build another building again. I did get the skills to build something from the ground up, but I was done after that point. Then I met this beautiful farmer from Granger, and she was a female version of me. And she also liked IPAs, and one day we sat down at a date, and she ordered IPA, and not to be outdone by the lady, I ordered one too. And to my surprise, it was delicious. It was awesome, and we spent the next, since then, looking and searching for the hoppiest beers we could find. And so had not one of these four things not happened, we wouldn't be where we are today. But it didn't start with beer. It started with cider. We had pressed and fermented about 150 gallons of cider, which is a ton of cider. We had it coming out of our ears. We had bottles everywhere in the house. It had occupied all of our refrigerators, and it kind of got out of control, but it wasn't as bad as the beer. On a lazy Sunday afternoon, we had all the equipment from the cider, so we decided, hey, let's try to brew a batch of beer. And foolish me, I thought that beer that I was brewing was going to be as good as that Deschutes beer that I had in my hand, and it was not. So we went back to the research and started doing a lot of reading. I read everything I could get my hands on. I bought a book and read an entire book on just yeast. Figured out that we needed better equipment, we needed temperature control, so many different things. Processes had to change. So we took the stuff into the shop and started building a replica of a commercial pilot brew house. And it started to work really well after some time. So well that much of our time was consumed with brewing beer. It takes about 5 hours to brew a batch from beginning to end. And we spent basically almost every Saturday, a lot of Sundays, and even some weeknights brewing beer. 3 batches in a row. That's 15 hours straight of beer, and we just did it for fun. But like I said, it kind of got out of control, and pretty soon every room in our house had fermenters with beer in it fermenting. It was our kitchen counters, it was our pantry, it was our mud room, it was our garage. It had taken over. Maria at one point said, "My Lord, I've created a monster." So we kept working on those recipes, though, and our processes and trying to get things down. We brewed, I can't tell you how many batches, hundreds of batches of beer. We got to the point where we were replicating, the number one beer in the world right now, Pliny the Elder. We replicated that beer. We were doing hop tests with the 5 there, knowing what exactly each hop presents to a beer in flavor and aroma. And what's the next logical step if you're in Yakima? Hops, right? So we went down to the Deschutes Forest, logged some lodgepole pine, threw in about an acre of hops, 8 different varieties. It was a ton of work, but let me tell you, like I said, there's nothing more rewarding than growing a crop and taking it to market. We built a Downhauer-style picker that fall, and 3 days before we got married, late in the night, we had filled our first kiln with a commercial, commercial kiln-style deal with Centennial hops. Remember how I said I'd never build another building? Well, when I met Maria, I knew that what was able to be accomplished by one person was now more than doubled, because I had her abilities, and I had her love, and I had her support. So we started out with Plan A, which is on top, which was a small little nano brewery. And then we started doing business plans and sales forecasting, and it just grew, just like everything, it grows out of control, to the point where we got to Plan B, which was a building 10 times the size of what we started with. But the only way we can afford to do this stuff, because it's so capital intensive, is we had to build everything ourselves. we had to get a TIG welder and start learning how to do stainless steel TIG welding. It took me 30 hours and 60 linear feet of welding to become a sanitary stainless welder. It started with the keg washer, and then we worked on the brew house. We took 6 flat sheets of stainless steel, built cylinders and cones, and built 700-gallon tanks that would become our brew house. It's our mash tun and boil kettle. After that, it was the construction had started last fall. We got our building permits finally, and it's the same deal with the excavation onto getting the foundation put in, the prep work for the slab. Everything was done by us. I had Maria doing things she probably never dreamed of doing. She for the dirt compaction, she ran a jumping jack for me, which is like a motorized pogo stick for dirt compaction. I had her breaking these cement blocks apart underneath the rebar mat, getting ready for the slab. And it continued on from there. It was, whether it be painting trim, driving a forklift to help me set the door beams over the overhead doors, everything was done by us. And because we had the knowledge and the ability, we saved a ton of money on it, and we actually got it done for real close to what we had budgeted. And when I say we did everything ourselves, it even includes the septic system. Luckily, the toilets weren't in yet, so we're not standing in anything, but being farmers, we're good at plumbing and things like that, and so it really meant everything we could do on our own, we did. And as much as we did on our own, we had a lot of help too. Our parents, and especially our 2 fathers, they racked up a ton of hours helping us with this building. They have so many hours in this building that they would apply, or they'd be eligible for unemployment had we actually hired them and had we actually paid them. But we didn't, so they don't qualify. We had a lot of friends and family members, co-workers help us out to get to this point where we are now, and we couldn't do it without them. And in September, we got licensed as a commercial microbrewery, and we were able to pour at the Fresh Hop Ale Festival on October 1st. So we got a little more construction to do, but hopefully in a couple months here, we'll be pouring you guys a delicious, crisp, hoppy beer. Thank you.